The government's announcement that it will lift New Zealand's refugee quota by 250 a year to 1,000 annually has left the opposition unimpressed. The Labour leader Andrew Little said the increase was, quote, less than the bare minimum, which he puts at a minimum of 1,100 a year. He says a Labour government would take 1,500 refugees a year. And Andrew Little is with me now in the Wellington studio. Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in to talk to us today. So you're saying we could take a lot more right now?
We could double the quota. We could take 1,500. The advice I've had from the NGOs and others who are in the field helping to resettle refugees is that we could take that number and still achieve the quality of settlement that we're doing at the moment.
But if we look at the statistics that have been provided, the quota is 750. There's an emergency response to the Syrian crisis of 250. That gets you to 1,000 already. Plus about 475 on the family reunification. So essentially it is that, isn't it?
Well, I think that the measure is what the additional ones we're taking each year as a result of the humanitarian crises around the world. We're at 750 at the moment. There's this temporary increase that the government announced at the end of last year to deal with the Syrian crisis. That's not going to be fixed anytime soon. And of course we still have the other refugee crises in other parts of the world as well anyway. In the end, you look at what New Zealand's doing compared to other countries. At 750, even at 1,000, we rank at the bottom of the world contribution to alleviating humanitarian crises. Australia is 3 times the per capita rate as us. Canada is higher. Other countries with a similar sort of profile as us do way better on a per capita basis. We can do better and we should be doing better.
OK, so you're saying that you would take as the quota 1,500 plus extra for family reunification?
Yes.
OK. So this announcement then, are you essentially saying already it's not enough, even though it would seem to be about the right sort of number? I don't really understand how that's a problem.
No, it's not enough. We have the figure of 750 at the moment. If that figure was keeping pace with the increase in our population, we'd be up to around 1,100. If we were making a comparable contribution to other countries, our nearest neighbours, Australia, other countries, we'd be doing way more than that. And when I look around and take advice from people who are saying, what could we comfortably do, given we've got the Mangere Refugee Settlement Centre and people got to have that induction and that training and then getting out to communities, the advice is we could comfortably do 1,500 and that's what we should be doing.
Do you think that the refugees should have to sign a value statement when they arrive?
I've met refugees in the refugee camps. I visited Satari and I met those people that they are people just like you and me. Most of the refugees in those camps actually want to go back to their home country. In Satari, it was going back to Syria. Others have given up hoping that Syria is going to get fixed and they want to have a safe, stable place somewhere else in the world that they can bring their kids up. But they're no different to the rest of us. Having said that, they then get screened by UNHCR. They're screened by our agencies. We screen them against the Five Eyes database. And you look at our track record in settling refugees from various parts of the world. We have a very successful settlement record, and I don't see that changing even if we increase it to 1,500.
So you don't think that would be a necessary step?
When people make the decision and enlist with UNHCR to say, I want to go to other parts of the world, it's because they're ready to make that change. They know that their home country is not going to be where they're going to make their life, and they want to go to other parts of their world. They already made that change, and they're no different to the rest of us. They are running from terror and terrorism, and they want a safe, stable part of the world to be in. That's why they enlist to be a refugee.
OK, so how is this going to be justified then by taking more, as you're saying you want to do, when if you look at what's happening in New Zealand now, and this is something you've spoken on extensively, there are New Zealanders who can't find housing, who can't be put into a state house and are currently living in cars?
Yeah, and I think it's a legitimate question to raise. We've got net immigration at the moment of roughly 66,000, so 1,500 and an additional 750 as part of that. Even if you were to crib that 65,000 back, isn't going to break our systems here. If you look at the way we've been settling refugees over the last few years and going to communities in Hamilton, Palmerston North, Dunedin, Nelson, cities other than Auckland, actually we're doing very well. And communities do respond and reach out. And I met some of the NGOs assisting refugees in Dunedin recently. the help that they are given, the compassion that they are shown, and their ability to kind of get into a settled life very quickly is actually very good. And we're good at this stuff, and we can do more.
So you're happy that there are enough houses there for them to be resettled into and to be homed?
Yes, we've actually got enough houses to put New Zealanders who are desperately needing a house at the moment, but we can do our bit on the humanitarian world stage to help settle refugees and do it successfully. We're doing it now. We can do more. We can do better. And what the government's done is just deeply disappointing.
Look, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for coming into the studio this morning.